Hi, I'm Zoe and welcome to my YouTube channel Learning How to Life. This video is a little bit different to the other episodes that I've been posting. It's kind of like separate to that. I don't plan on making this video right now. It's more of like a surprise bonus impromptu video that I suddenly kind of just felt compelled to make. So the title of this video is, there's not one size fits all. And the reason that I am making this video is before I start posting more and more about personal development and tools and techniques and concepts for becoming the best version of yourself, I really want to touch on something that I think is really important before we go too deep down into the wormhole of all of that. And that's, there is no one size fits all in terms of personal development and personal growth. There is no like textbook way of becoming a better version of yourself. It's different for every single person. Sometimes I do wish that, the universe would just hand you a map and like a checklist and a rule book, but that's not how it works. And I'm kind of glad that's not how it works because it would take the fun out of everything. But the reason that I really want to talk about this is because what I find and what I am seeing is that when people get on this path of self-discovery and self-transformation and self-help and especially whether it's from a physical or mental, emotional or spiritual aspect, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do well at this of like transforming ourselves, and we tend to look at other people who are on the same journey and we compare ourselves to them a lot. And we see people and we admire people that have gotten themselves from A to B, and that's what we want. And so we kind of think that we need to do what they're doing in order to get there, but it's not necessarily how it works. We can use a lot of the same tools and techniques and information, but the way that we apply it or the order that we apply it in our life is always going to be different based on who you are as an individual and where you're at in your journey and where you're at in your life right now. So there is no one size fits all in terms of personal development and transformation. And the other thing with this, or the other reason I was thinking about this and wanted to post a video about it, is because depending on who you are and where you're at in your journey, you're going to receive my videos differently. It is impossible for me to make a video that is going to be perfect for every single person on this planet, and that's going to be appealing to every single person on the planet, and that's going to be right for them as to where they're at in their journey. There are going to be some people that watch my videos and just don't connect to what I'm saying, or it doesn't feel applicable to them, or where they're at. And when I first started creating these videos, I did have a few moments of like but if somebody was going through this, they may not be able to understand this concept, and what if they're going through this, and what if that's what's happening with them, and what about someone that's going through that, and how are they going to perceive my video, and how's that going to help them, and this might help that person but not help that person who's going through this. And I had this kind of moment and it drove me a little bit crazy, and I said to myself, like, Zoe, you can't make a video that's going to be perfect for every single person. All you can do is to make videos that are true and authentic and real from your heart and what worked for you. That's all you can do. And then people are either going to resonate with it, connect with it, and use that information to help themselves, or maybe for some people, they're just not at a time where they're going to connect with it or be able to use what you're saying, and that's okay too. So what I wanted to say to you, to everyone watching my videos, is that as you're watching my videos, understand that we're completely different people with completely different experiences and completely different life circumstances. So what's my truth and what worked for me doesn't have to be your truth, and it doesn't necessarily have to work for you. I mean, I'd love it to. I'd love it to be able to help everyone, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So as you're watching my videos, there may be some information that I'm sharing and you just kind of like, oh, but you know, that seems impossible for me to apply that or to use that in my life right now. And yeah, so if you're not connecting with the information I'm sharing, that's okay. But if you want to be connecting, but you're just not sure how this information is applicable to you or how to integrate it into you based on your very specific life circumstances, I am happy to talk to you personally more about it in more detail, because it's going to be, you know, different for everyone. And the other thing with all of this in personal growth is that, you know, it's not an overnight fix. It is like, you know, it's a lot of consistency, it's a lot of hard work and dedication and repetition with all these tools and techniques. And often, you know, it can take a little while before you see the results. But as long as you're doing something proactive in the direction that you want to go, you're going to see some improvement in your life 100%. And the other point I really want to get across before I release too many more videos is that you have to learn to enjoy the journey. You have to have fun with it. You have to enjoy the process of working on yourself. Don't do all of this or become interested in personal growth and personal development if your motivation for doing it is to reach this like end goal of happiness and bliss, and to like never feel pain again. If you're doing this and working on yourself in order to avoid negative feelings and in order to avoid pain, that's not how this works. It doesn't matter how much personal development you do and how, you know, if you become the best version of yourself, it doesn't mean bad things or negative things don't happen in your life. And it doesn't mean that you no longer have negative or painful emotions. You know, that is going to be inevitable. What changes is your perception of your circumstances. What changes is your perception of your emotions, and definitely what changes is how you react to them and how you handle them. And then that is what changes your life completely. So don't do all of this in order to avoid something. Don't do all of this in order to reach this like end goal of like bliss or happiness. Do this to make the journey funner. Do this to make the journey. Oh my god, too many words in my mouth. Do this to make the journey happier and more exciting and more fun and more fulfilled. And, you know, as you're going through, you know, people's expectation of their like self-transformation journey is like starting here and then just like gradually going up, when in actual fact, in reality, the personal growth journey looks a bit like start here and then like that's a more accurate representation of what it's like. So I just really wanted to make this video to emphasize the fact that there is no one size fits all in terms of this, and it's going to be different for every single person on this path. I wanted to emphasize the fact that the information that I'm sharing may or may not be relatable to you at this time, depending on your journey. And, you know, that's okay. I wanted to also emphasize the fact that it's not an overnight fix and that it does take dedication and time. And I wanted to emphasize the fact that you have to learn to enjoy the journey and not be doing this just for an outcome. Do it to enjoy the process of it. Fall in love with the process of working on yourself, and it becomes so much easier and so much funner. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, as I post videos, I'm really well aware that I'm going to be challenging people's views and challenging people's beliefs and challenging people's circumstances and where they're at in their lives, and you know, that's kind of inevitable. And I just wanted to make a point to talk about the fact that sometimes when, you know, we can get a little bit defensive. And if you're ever watching my videos and you're finding yourself getting defensive, I urge you to look a little bit deeper into that, because basically with me and what I've been through, what I learned about myself was that when I was getting defensive, when reading books or watching people talk or being told something, defensiveness for me meant truth. I always got defensive when there was a lot of truth to what I was seeing or hearing or witnessing. And when I became aware of that, it definitely allowed me to do a lot of self-reflection. So if you are getting defensive with any of the information that I'm sharing, you know, especially with things like taking responsibility for your life and taking responsibility for where you're at and things like that, I urge you to look a little bit deeper and be honest with yourself of maybe that defensiveness is coming from the fact that there's a little bit of truth to what I'm saying for you, or maybe you're getting defensive because you have a very unique set of circumstances and you think that what I'm sharing, you know, that I just don't get where you're at, or it doesn't apply to where you're at and what you've been through. In which case, kind of going back to the one size fits all, I can't make a video that's going to be perfect for every single person. So if you're also feeling that way, then you can either, you know, I might just not be gelling with you, and that's cool, but you know, if you would like to talk about it more personally and more in depth, you know, in relation to your private and very specific circumstances, I'm happy to do that too. Yeah, so that's pretty much all this little impromptu video is about, is that, you know, there is no right or wrong way to do this, and it's going to be unique to every single person, and it's important to get excited about the process, get excited about the journey, use every uncomfortable, negative, bad situation in your life as another opportunity to grow and apply the concepts and ideas that I'll be talking about in my videos. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to be posting a proper episode on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Warning for that video, it's, yeah, me again telling you that you're responsible for a lot of the stuff in your life, and it may or may not cause some defensiveness. So yeah, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.